There we are. Live and rolling once again. We are looking at Broforce once again.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
Alright, so we're going to be killing some people and talking about trading a little bit today, as often we do.
3, 2, 1, go!
What happened to my damn coffee? I had a coffee filled and ready to go. What the hell happened to it? Oh, there it is. I got my fucking caffeine right here, and I believe that we are in the devil zone right here. District, I've got this guy with a shit cannon. Like, it really, we need this much. I guess it did help break the door down. Oh, it's this. Okay, we're here. I forgot. Okay, this is exactly where we left off.
Mission failed. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Okay, these guys are off. I've got a good chance here. I don't fuck it up. Gotta get to that checkpoint. Shit, I fucked it up. Damn it.
In peace. 3, 2, 1, go!
This guy sucks. Fuck, I gotta keep going. Ah! The American flag. That's what I needed. I needed the American flag.
Go, go, go!
Oh, drink beer, you bitch. I'm drinking coffee, I'm sorry. This is just fucking the middle of the afternoon. I can't do anything about it. I'm stuck, but you need to drink beer. There's no doubt. Watch me roast these guys with Mr. T. What the?
Failed.
Wow, that was unlucky.
Go, go! Failed.
There are definitely some better heroes than others in this one. This is a good one. Rambo's good, always. There's that American flag that I need. Oh, I fucked that up. We gotta shoot these fucking things at... Oh! We...
3, 2, 1.
that is an interesting question that you propose here, Zarek44. I am the wrong person to really ask that question to because I met my first and only girlfriend in America who happened to be Japanese. Did I meet her and succeed because I was able to speak both languages? That certainly helped, but she's all I've ever been with. I didn't get laid at all in Japan other than all the time by my wife, so it's a pretty bad question, you know, to get a good answer for. Now, I had a bunch of friends who were foreigners, and they claim, and I believe they claim honestly, that yes, it is easier to get laid in Japan than it is anywhere else necessarily, but that's just because of the novelty factor of being a foreigner. And keep in mind, you're only going to get a certain type of person that is interested in that kind of thing. So if that's the kind of person you want to get laid by, then that'll work out for you. But if quality is your goal, that may not be the right move. Oh god, I'm fucking this up. It may not be the move for you, but if you're just strictly trying to get laid, you can get laid anywhere, honestly. You can find someone who's interested in getting laid. That was different. Can't even slash the bastard. I can do it. I shouldn't shoot that thing. I really need to be better than this. Ah! I was gonna start laying into that piece of crap. Alright, let's... That's a miss. I think I'm dead. It didn't even work. Oh, fucking knife person. Hate knife people. That was a mistake. It's tough. They don't give you any lives in this for some reason. I hate this guy. This guy sucks. God. Every time I have a good run, it's one of these dickholes that doesn't have the ability to shoot. You can't go to the left side of the screen. You can get bombed by the piece of shit.
You bitch!
God damn, Zarek. You are fucking coming in. You were already in here, but now you're fucking coming in here with the host. I appreciate that shit. Come on, you bitch. Go, 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 go! fucked it up. Yeah, well, you gotta be pretty aggressive as someone who's just visiting to try to get laid like that. That's not normal. Like, even really slutty girls generally are gonna, like, look for someone who's living there. I mean, unless they really just want something quick. So, it's complicated. That's probably why it didn't happen. Again, it just depends on how aggressive you are. So, anyway, people can start shuffling in here. I'm going to take on the second topic of today, which, other than just killing all these motherfuckers in this game, is the burning question
3, 2, 1, go!
from the Discord of how the hell did I know to take profits yesterday instead of leaving everything as it was with my longer term stock picks. And that's a good question, because I did indeed see that coming, and I was able to avoid a lot of losses. But the way I do that, there's several factors, but when I look at the fucking shit that I'm gonna buy long term, god damn, this is a problem. That is a solution to that problem. So, oh my god, I thought that was gonna crush my ass. Mutts everywhere, they're killing each other. Come on, bitch. Come on. You know you want to come up the ladder. You know you do. You were born for this, dude. Just fucking make the jump. Nope. No good.
Mission failed.
So the answer to that question is, when I look at the stocks that are in that portfolio, and I have one thing in mind for these long-term stocks. I see the path that they're on, like, from a year perspective. So I look at the plot of the price over the last year, and I look at where the price was pre-pandemic, because that is an issue and is part of what we're dealing with. And I look at where the price is going for that stock right now, and I see the line. And as I move through the day-to-day trading situation that happens, I see whether or not the amount that it goes up or down. That's my special. I did not know that. Let's try this special on these guys. I'll take it. It's a good special. I only have one left, though. Wow, this guy's different.
Rest in peace.
I don't know how I died there. So, to take an example, the majority of the stocks that I had in my portfolio yesterday went up between 3 and 10% yesterday, during a day where the broad market did not do that. When I see that kind of fluctuation in price, I try to figure out what is the contributing factor to that via news or whatever, and see whether or not that price shift was an overreaction to that news or not. And then, accordingly, you'll normally see that things will shift back into the projection that is a long-term projection. So, when I saw that it went up like between 3 and 10% on all those stocks, I took a look at the stocks in question, figured out, okay, what happened to make these go up. In the case of the airlines, it was data that made it go up. Data about bookings increasing. And the fact that bookings increased is due to the vaccine and all kinds of things, but positive data can definitely influence a stock, and it did. And we also have an influx of buyers in the market right now due to the stimulus checks that just came. A lot of people already have their finances taken care of at this point, and they don't need that stimulus money to stay alive. Those people will potentially invest that money. So that is an influencer in the other direction. We got that positive news bringing it up, and then we got that stimulus stuff also going to bring it up. It's not happening yet. Some people have gotten their checks already, some have not. But a lot of people will be getting them this week. That's going to cause an upward trend in purchases for stocks for that. So factoring all that in and looking at where the path would have put that stock had it not had a huge increase, I realized that that increase was disproportionate to what actually the value probably should be. In the case of Cinemark and American Airlines specifically, that was a sure bet that 9-10% increase on that data was an overreaction. And because that was an overreaction, the right thing to do at that point is to liquidate those stocks and brace for the correction that will inevitably happen afterward. And that's exactly what I did this morning, expecting a 2-3% change in that price. And as soon as that change was real, I started putting the money back in. And what that ends up relating to in the long, like in the long and short of things, what that is, that's just money in my pocket, because I didn't take that loss. I did not lose 2 to 3% this morning to that shift that I felt was inevitable, because I already saw it coming. So I've started buying in again after that shift had realized itself, and you buy in to that shit. You buy in slow. You don't buy in all at once after it hits 3%. Like you ease in to it. Once it hits the point where you think that it's corrected itself, you buy like half of the money you liquidated, put it back in, and you wait, because maybe the correction isn't finished. Maybe you can get a lower price. And you just continue to buy in the lower it gets. And all of that reduction in price that you're getting is actually losses that you would have taken had you not done that. And if the stock were to have gone up unexpectedly instead of going down to the corrected price that you thought, you're not losing anything. You are missing out on gains. Missing out is not losing money. Losing money is losing money. And never forget that. You can't beat yourself up for not... son of a bitch. You can't beat yourself up for not seeing an opportunity before it happened. But if you take a loss that you could have avoided, I mean, and you saw it coming, you're fucking up. You should definitely go with your gut and go with what the data shows for that stuff. So that's why I did what I did, because 9% in one day for that data is not balanced. It was a knee-jerk reaction by the market and fear of missing out on those profits. So coming back in afterwards, that maximizes the amount that I will get. And when it may sound like nothing if you're coming in with $1,000, it may not be worth your time to do that. 2% of $1,000 is $20. So if you had $1,000 invested and you got 7% on that yesterday, you got $70. You got $70. And then if you avoid that 2% loss, you still have $70 instead of $50. that you would have earned otherwise. Is it worth $20 to sit and watch and think about all of that? It's good practice, but it's probably not worth all that time, honestly. When you have $100,000 and you go up 7%, 7% of $100,000 is $7,000. So that's a lot of money. That's not a little bit of money. And if you avoid a 2% loss of $100,000, you're avoiding a $2,000 loss. So things start making a difference when there's a ton of money in your account, and it becomes very worth your time. God damn it! Oh no! It becomes very worth your time to consider that kind of shit, I think. And some people will definitely argue against me, saying that you should stick with your investments, and you shouldn't be fucking around trying to avoid losses, because you'll end up avoiding gains and this and that, and that it'll wash out. And for a lot of people that's true, but in my case it's not true. My performance rating currently, as it stands, since April of last year, which is when the performance metric is measured, it's actually March of last year. It's the middle of March. It's a 1-year metric. My account, the invested money in that account has doubled since then, and that is a very good return considering what I was buying. So was it necessary for me to do all of the loss avoidance? Maybe not, but keep in mind I was invested before then, and I avoided a 40%, 50% drop when Corona happened by doing that cost avoidance. So definitely, if you can get your brain around long-term versus short-term gains, and what is a market reaction that's overreactive versus what's a legitimate steady raise in the price of something that you feel is undervalued, you're going to end up in a good place. Oh, you need a job? Okay, well, right now, given the fact that your particular skill set is not in high demand, is a very difficult. The 3D art part is the best asset you have as far as what demand is in the industry is right now. 3D animators, 3D designers are in demand. It depends on how good you are at it and how quick you are and how good the quality of your work is, whether or not you're going to be able to get a job, and whether or not your portfolio and your experience is good. But right now, the easiest way to make money, if you are not currently having a bunch of experience in the field you want to do, is to do delivery. And if that's already well above what your current expectations for career are, then don't listen to me. But if you need to pay the bills, or you want to start like launching yourself, and you are traditionally doing art as your job and you want money, delivery jobs are where it's at right now. You can get a lot of deliveries. There are a lot of rich people who don't do their own work right now, who are scared of the virus, and that's going to go away. So at the moment, you can really get a lot by doing that. People tip nicer than they do during non-pandemic times, because they feel guilty that they're fucking not going to the store and putting their health at risk. Instead, you're doing that. So you can get quite a bit in that field. If you want a long-term career path that's going to make you a ton of money, but requires a time investment for your own skills, big data is where all of the money in business seems to be at right now. If you are able to build data systems and understand and manipulate data systems that are large, and you understand what SQL is, and what Azure is, and what business intelligence is, and how to do development for web applications based on that data. If you can do any of that stuff, that's where you can start making six figures pretty quickly. And you can do that without a college degree. You can do that with experience and with the ability to make things happen for people. But you're going to have to put the time into understanding all that shit. I don't have time to do tutorials on that and won't have time until I'm retired from it. That's how I make money. I make money doing AI. Yeah, machine learning is part of it, absolutely. If you can take Python and you can add machine learning libraries to a script and tie it to a SQL server that has big data that a company cares about, and you can leverage that AI to actually forecast and do things for them, that's going to be very valuable to you. You'll end up getting a bunch of money. And if you can prove yourself in a company over a long period of time to be correct about trend analysis, guess what? Trend analysis is just what I do on stocks for other people. You just take sales figures and you take quality problems. And you take the billing that is coming, and if you can understand that data for a company and predict where it's going to be accurately 6 months to a year from where it is, you're going to become valuable to that company because you're like a crystal ball at that point for these guys. They can make decisions based on their future financial situation. And if you're right about that stuff and your data is sound and you're able to actually say mathematically where the company's going to be at a certain point on any given metric, and you're right over and over again, you will get promotions and shit. That's just what happens. If you're wrong, you will probably not be asked to do that again. It's pretty much how that works. You'll be asked to do things that don't involve predictive analysis. I'm pretty confident in that kind of stuff. I'm confident in seeing trends and using multiple different kinds of math. And if you can do that kind of shit, you can, first of all, you can make yourself money in the stock market. That's really actually what you got to do when you make a long-term decision of like, I'm going to be playing with this stock for the rest of the year. If you make that decision, it should be based on data and due diligence. That's what it should be based on. And then your ability to see those micro trends is also based on data, if you're doing it right. And if you're good at that kind of shit, maybe you should farm out those abilities to fucking company. But literally, if you are like me and you were an artist before any of this shit happened and you don't have a lot of coding skills, the way to go about it is to fucking choose a different career until that career becomes available, and just do not stop looking for work in your field while you're doing the other work. Just keep looking for those 3D art jobs. Keep looking for those graphics design jobs. They are out there. Eventually, a company in your local area that needs that will need you, and eventually you'll be in the right place at the right time. And at that point, when you make that interview, you're gonna look like you're not a freeloader to these guys. You're gonna look like you're ambitious and that you've been doing the best you can for yourself in the meantime, and that's gonna end up separating you from the other 3D designers who also are probably looking for work at that time. And those guys probably aren't fucking hoofing it as a delivery driver or as something that's not as good. And you showing that not only are you good at that shit, but also have the fucking ambition and care about your own personal finances, take care of yourself while you're waiting for the correct opportunity, will impress me. It would impress me if I was fucking making the decision. So, it's definitely sets you apart. But more than anything, with the 3D design shit, your portfolio is going to set you apart. So keeping that portfolio up to date building it, and also making sure that as you do design work for people, that you keep samples of what you've done, so that you don't have to sit there and make a portfolio from scratch. Instead, you're using work you've already been paid for in your portfolio. That's the key to fucking landing that kind of shit. And this is coming from zero experience getting jobs in that field. But I did get jobs in programming, which is an art as well. And that was done by me working other jobs first, getting my financial shit in order, and then striking when the iron was hot for the jobs I was looking for. And I gave up working for fun a long time ago. There will be no fun. I will not be having fun working. This is fun. This isn't really work. So, given that I gave that shit up, and know that my goal is to fucking become an independent artist that has a bunch of money that pays himself, instead, I can comfortably look for the most financially rewarding position, rather than something that I want, like a video game production job or something like that. At this point, those people are getting fucking bent over, and they're not paid well enough. Everyone wants to work in the video game industry. And, like, I want to work in the I get paid a bunch of money industry. And then I want to work in the I don't work industry. That's the difference. NFT. I don't know what NFT is, Deadware. I don't know. I've got another boss to fight already. This is crazy. They're not fucking letting up on the bosses. Look at Homeboy in there. There's a dude. They've got an executioner hood-wearing dude in this fucking Sky Fortress. It's not overcompensating for anything either, so this should be interesting. Alright, well, that's what we're doing here. Can I make it bomb itself? Let's see if we can make it bomb itself. Oops, come on. Oh, alright, well, alright, it lands first, I see. Alright, let's try that again.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go! Villain Rip Bro!
There she is. She's coming on in. Wow. Those fucking bombs. Will it attack itself? That is still the question. Doesn't look like any damage has been done. Okay, that's not the way.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
Oh God. No, I don't. I think, is it valuable? Let's talk about that for a second. Yes and no. So, I have no better example than this right here. So, here we have the old marketplace, right? Let's go in here. Look at Steam for a second, alright? I have a lot of worthless assets in my Steam market thing. I think I have to go here to do this. A lot of worthless assets that are worth nothing. They're zeros and ones in Valve's database that says I can have a certain cosmetic item from Dota that was a 3D item that was probably a workshop item, maybe not even designed by Valve employees, that is selling for something. These are all cosmetic, three-dimensional arts, and they sell because of the accounts that they're associated with and whether or not you're allowed to execute them on the game. Alright, so in my days of playing Dota, I accumulated a bunch of these non-valued items that I just either purchased for myself because I wanted to look a certain way in the game, or I was gifted through Valve's system of giving items to people all the time when they play. So let's have a look at this. Or not, I'm sorry, this isn't even going to help me. When I went to TI5, this treasure right here was dropped for free to people who, this is from the 2016, I was in 2015. This thing is selling for $169 each. I have one of these. I have a 15 one as well. I went to both 15 and 16 international. I do not have a 17 one. That one starts at $600. But the point is, what is it really worth? It's really worth nothing. It's a digital asset for a game that Valve has no obligation to continue supporting, and could go at any point the way of this game here. Here's another game of the same type, made by Gearbox Software, and they are discontinuing support this month for this game, and it will no longer work. This game will essentially be worthless, and any cosmetic items or anything else about this game is just going to be completely disabled. And the retail value of all of it, including the game itself, is going to be zero, because it is worth nothing. It's zeros and ones. This controller is worth something. It's real capital. I can sell it. Even if all the motherfucking shit associated with this controller becomes very hard to find, it's still an electronic piece of thing that you can actually use and you can get. And there's digital sports cards and all this shit. It's all fucking worthless. It's all fucking worthless. It's the Emperor's New Clothes, guys. So if you've got an item like that, you may as well sell it. You may as well sell it on the market, and you might as well get paid in your Steam account. You can have that money. It's digital shit. And just like Bitcoin, or just like Ethereum, or whatever the fuck you got going on with that shit, it is only worth what people believe it's worth. It's faith-based. And in fact, unlike Bitcoin, you actually get something for your character while you're playing the game if you buy digital art. Or you get a little fucking NBA movie you can watch if you're buying fucking basketball cards or baseball cards or whatever. Why is it valuable? It's valuable because people have faith in it. But when people realize that cryptocurrency is a closed market where only the backers, the original people who invested in it, contain wealth and everybody else doesn't have it and has to buy in to these backers, it's basically replacing big government and banks with just fucking schmucks and investors. You don't want to be in a market economy where the first people in it have all the money, and it's the same principle of the 1%, but instead it's just a different 1%. And worse than any other market economy, there's a finite amount of that shit there, and it's done. And it hasn't been fucking legally regulated in ways yet, and so the value of it can go all the fucking way over the place. But I don't want to invest in a fucking currency where the founders and Elon Musk have all the power. That's fucked up, even if it was legitimate. But guess what? It ain't. It's nothing. It's a bunch of zeros and ones. And there's so many different kinds of it and shit. It's just, it's the Emperor's New Clothes. And it's faith-based. The people have faith that it has value. Just like people have faith in Jesus Christ or in Allah or whatever. They have faith that they're going to get their virgins when they die. They have faith that there's going to be Peter and pearly gates when they die, and they're throwing their money down a fucking offering plate, and that's what's going on with them. It's faith-based currency. It's not real. And the Federal Reserve is supposed to have some backing, but there's partially, the Federal Reserve is partially faith-based. So don't think that you just, by avoiding cryptocurrency, that you're avoiding being a moron. You have to diversify any wealth that you gain in capital and property and other things than just money, because it's all actually just paper in the end. Minerals, all that shit. You got to think about it a little bit. But cryptocurrency, I cannot justify in any way. Okay, this guy's the right guy to be fucking using against this thing. The right guy. This guy does ass tons of damage. You charge up this fucking thing. Whoa, that almost shot me. Oh, I'm dead. Fuck. I should have gotten the guy. Should have gotten the guy. I've never ever had crypto. I've never owned a single bit. I don't have a wallet. I don't care about it. I've never trusted it. It seems like a scam. It's got scam written all over it to me. All over it. It's just, that's how I feel about it. And I feel like I'm the 4-year-old kid in the Emperor's New Clothes that's saying, hey, only the backers have the wealth here. Hey, look at this shit. There's nothing there. These fucking USB cards can get lost. People can fucking, like, they're generally funding criminal activity with the shit. It's all so obvious to me that I'm just the fucking 4-year-old that says this isn't worth anything. It's just a bunch of zeros and ones, and there's no value to this. And eventually the fucking floor is gonna come crashing out on it. And if I'm wrong, then I don't have fucking money in a system of money where the backers have all the wealth. I don't care for that. I don't need that. I do not need it. I do not see a situation where it ends well. That's me. The only way where it would end well is if the Federal Reserve moved to a crypto-based system, in which case all the Federal Reserve money and all of the money that the United States used was handled in that way, independently, and then you'd have to invest in that in order to get started. It'd have to be moved to that. All the money would have to be translated to that kind of a system, and then still the Bitcoin would be worthless, in my opinion. It'd still be worthless, even if they moved the national currency that was government-backed and bank-backed. Still be worthless. I can't defend against this shit. Oh, that's a homing missile. But yeah, I've never believed in crypto. From the moment I saw it, I was like, this is horseshit. And I don't deny that people are making money on it. They're making money on faith, just like preachers make money when they collect the offering and then take it home, spend it on their house, which is what they're doing. And that's what preachers do. They collect that offering money and then they fund their own salary with it. Even though it's called a non-profit, they're profiting. I promise you, that's what they're doing. And the backers of these cryptocurrencies are profiting too. They absolutely are. And the people who invest in it right now are profiting, but they're profiting on other people's faith. They're not profiting on value. So that's the difference, really, in my book, with that shit. Got to the other side, come on, go. Yeah, I'm on the other side of this piece of shit now. Dog. Fucking dog. Don't know how I died there. This is tough. It's a tough boss. When you buy a stock, you are buying a share of that company. It has more real-world value than money does, because that company is a entity that has capital, and it has a workforce and the ability to produce things, produce real things that are worth more than the materials that are used to produce them. So you're buying stock, you're essentially actually getting out of the Emperor's New Clothes Federal Reserve System in a way, because it has real value. It also has real non-value if the company's garbage. So keep that in mind. And when you buy property or real estate or REITs, which are stocks of private shared property, like when you do that, that also is a way to get your money out of that faith-based area where you have faith in the Federal Reserve in that case. And it protects you from if the value of the American dollar just plummeted to nothing, like the Zimbabwe dollar or whatever. Like, it's happened to currencies where they become so devalued that they're essentially worthless. So, like, if I was a millionaire in Zimbabwe like 30 years ago, I would be fucking cash poor right now. Like, that would be worthless. And they don't. Yeah, stocks can be undervalued. You're buying a part of the company. That's what you're doing. You're a part owner then of the company, or a part owner of the property, or full owner of the property. The best investment you'll ever make will be your home, not another person's home, your home. You will never profit as much on anything. That's not true, but you really, nothing is as good of an investment as a investment in your own property that you're living in. Take away your rent, and you're living in the property. You don't have to worry about someone else fucking it up because you're charging them rent and they damage it or anything. None of that comes into play. You're just you're saving yourself essentially from the cost of rent. And the better house you get, the more money it's worth. And when the value of the dollar or the crypto or whatever becomes nothing, you still have a piece of land that has a house or whatever capital on there. God, that's too big of a radius that these goddamn bombs can't defend against them. So the fact that I've got like more than half of my net worth in a paid off house, that gives me comfort. If everything else falls apart, that shit's still gonna be okay for me. And then if the fucking Federal Reserve, like, if it just blows up and the value of the United States dollar becomes garbage, I also still have all the stocks. They're all fucking they're gonna feel the pain of the American dollar go down, but they're still a business. They still own all their capital. They still can turn around and make a profit. So, and depending on what kind of business it is, depending on the kind of business that it is, their value will be different. Like, airlines are going to need to fly regardless of whether or not money is valuable or not. Like, they will fly, I promise. Those airplanes are going to fly. People are going to want to fucking go somewhere. The human nature is that they want to get the fuck out, and the human nature is that they don't learn to be their own pilot. I talked about services and how I do all my own work. Like, I fix my own shit. Like, I try to produce my own items. I have a 3D printer, for fuck's sake. I do not like other people working for me. I like working for myself. I ain't gonna fly my own fucking plane. That ain't gonna happen. There's some things that you just gotta fucking say, I can't do that. You gotta fucking admit it. Those are the fucking things in my world where if they're undervalued from a perspective of, like, company or whatever, that's a good investment at that point. Shit you can't do yourself that people want. So even the fucking, like, most frugal among you will end up using it. I gotta go back to Japan. I gotta do it. Going back to Japan, that costs a shit ton of money, and I'm not the only one that's gotta do that kind of shit. So, businesses have to travel to make money. They have to. People have to go check out their fucking operations in foreign countries and stuff. They've gotta do it. There's no way around that shit that I'm aware of. Like, there's virtual audits and shit, but it's never gonna be the same. And the pandemic's not gonna take away the need for that kind of shit. Me, I am horrible at this. Free life. Is it really free? What the hell? I thought I was a fucking machine gun guy. Man, I need bite binge. No, I'm not still in Japan. I live in Georgia now. Why didn't I stay? The straw that broke the camel's back was the Fukushima disaster when I had to start buying water. You know how much I hate fucking paying for services that I shouldn't have to pay for. I fucking make my own water. I get that shit from a well, fucking filter it myself. That's the way to go. But anyway, when I realized I wasn't even like able to fucking handle my own water supply, that was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. But the real reason that I moved to Japan was because there are no laws protecting children from teachers and adults in Japan, and it's a predatory place for children. And I was a teacher, so I witnessed this shit happening. And there's no statutory rape laws, there's no rights for students, and it's a very draconian school system, and I don't want my child. And we started thinking about having children around the time 2013 is when we moved. 2012 was when I made the decision to move, right after that disaster struck. When I made that decision, it was about having kids. It was like, will I raise my daughter in this school system that I'm working for? Will I do it? And she wasn't born. She was long not born. But I was concerned about her. She was planned. She was a planned pregnancy, and I wanted to do that correctly. It was a desire that I had to have her around. She was very intentional, and I didn't want her growing up in a place where it was legal for a teacher to take advantage of her and seduce her into having sex for whatever reason. And that is why I moved home, actually. But also compounded the broken back was the Fukushima thing. I was just like, I can't be buying fucking water. I can barely afford to live the way it is. So that's when I was like, fuck it. I've got a little bit of savings. Get the fuck out of here and see if I can make it to Hollywood. That was the decision. So I went from a fucking abusive environment to a more abusive environment, which is Los Angeles. But I didn't know that at the time. So I had no idea that LA was run the way it's run, which is in a corrupt way, obviously. But fuck me. But yeah, that was the reason, and yeah, unfortunately they haven't fixed it yet. So because it's not fixed, I can't recommend parents to go move to Japan to work and live. And Japanese people don't have a choice. They have to fix their government. That's what they have to do. And there's no way around it for them. But if you're a foreigner and you're considering living your life there and stuff, that's something you got to consider. And my recommendation, of course, would be that you if you're young, go do that. Go have an experience. Increase your cultural understanding and shit. Do fun shit in Japan. It's a fun place. The people are amazing. But there's still some remnants left over from the old time that can, but they don't always, but they can damage you or your family if you're not careful about it. And I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want her friends to have that happen to her. When I had the ability to get out of that, I decided that's the right move. So that's why I'm here now. And also, you can't make a lot of money in Japan as a foreigner. You're not going to get more than about $50,000 a year maximum if you're working at a private school as an English teacher. If you work for a company, you better be one of the most fluent people, more fluent than me. You got to be able to read at a fucking college level, and then you can get in their companies, and you're still going to have to face discrimination and shit. But you can get a job working for a Japanese company if you're great. But or if you had your foothold in a Japanese company when you were here. So like if you worked for like fucking Fujifilm or whatever fucking company you work for in Japan or in America, excuse me, and then you moved to Japan, you could probably get a job for your own company in Japan. That's fine, but that's not normal. That's not the normal foreigner that goes to Japan who worked for a Japanese company previously. Like you're working for Toyota or you're working for fucking like I don't know, Sharp or whatever fucking company you're working for here, and then you move there. Then you can make money. You can make money then if you've been established here. You're not going to take a pay cut moving to Japan. That's not how it works. But you do have to show that you have value there in the other country. Okay, we gotta move. This is the best chance I have. 2 lives and all this shit. Fucking right. Where is it? Done. Fucked him up. It's raining fucking dudes. Yeah! Alright, time to go. Gotta get back to my job. Anyway, fuck that place up. Have a good fucking day, everybody. See you next time. Bye.